Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Levi back again with another video on a stock that I have dug into. Very curious about video conferencing, if they were publicly traded, and which one I should focus on. So sit back, enjoy, hear what I learn, and maybe you learn something too and save you some time. So my goal is to get you excited about investing. I'll take you along my journey of investing by sharing with you what I learn and discover. So let's go right into it. Who are the big players with video conferencing? I first thought, okay, Microsoft Teams, obviously they got to be there right at the top. Very large company, mega billions, right? Then you got Citrix Systems. I didn't think of them right off the bat, but they're a small company compared to Microsoft. And I was like, oh yeah, they're around. I've used them once or twice for something I needed for free, quick meet with someone that might be in another state or a different country. Then you got WebEx meetings, and I've heard of them, but I didn't know that they were made by Cisco. So Cisco's a very large company, and so they're around too. They've been around for quite a while actually. And then I came across Zoom Video, and I hadn't known about this one because it has not been around for very long. They just recently become publicly traded. So I was excited to dig into this particular company just a little bit and to see what it produced. What I always like to be amazed about is how much return would I get from $1,000 investment in a company if it started at the IPO. For Shopify, I did a video on the company, so click up here if you want to learn a little bit more about what Shopify is about. But if you would have invested $1,000 at the IPO of Shopify, you would now have, at the time of this recording, a 2,000% return. Probably around that or a little less at the time of recording because of the pandemic that's going on. But your investment of $1,000 would have a balloon to about $20,000 alone. That would be just a great investment. And it just goes to show, longer you keep a stock, more you're going to return. That's what I want to help you guys understand. During this time when I haven't been able to put as many trades in because of the pandemic and focusing on other things, I've also been focusing on building and cementing my trade strategy. Where are the markets that I want to invest? How are going to be my entries for triggering a trade and not jumping the gun or falling into a bull trap? Really getting that down so that when I get into the thick of things and when things are going good, that I don't make mistakes and errors. All right, so here is a Zoom Video. From perusing their website to hearing about Zoom from the news media and people that I've talked to with Zoom that have used it a lot, here is a little bit about the company. So they have a market cap of $42 billion. That's pretty small compared to Microsoft. Really small player. Stock price, $151.70. It seems really high for what it could do here in the future. It could be a very value stock at this point and a big discount. Now, the way I was able to see how Zoom makes their money and revenue is by going to their website. And at the top there at the menu, you can see here all the different products and services they've created. They have quite a suite and they're becoming very competitive. Microsoft, Cisco, they're all going to have to look out for Zoom because they're making the process for video conferencing all that much easier. And what is also really easy to do is to hit that like button. If you've enjoyed this video so far, it really motivates me to create more videos like this. And here on their services page for Zoom, you can see that they have a free tier, but then they also have some higher tiers here too, where they can really build their revenue. They have some very big companies in their portfolio, and they're really helping people connect during this pandemic and really helping schools and all sorts of other industries be able to meet virtually. Now, two key things that I like to look into when looking into a stock, and that's their debt and how much cash on hand they have. So let's peek real quickly into their books. I'll keep it real short. This might be dry for some people. All you're simply looking here at the top from left to right is their free cash flow. How much cash do they have right now that they could liquidate, use for an emergency, and be able to use for any short-term goals they might have. And you can see here in 2017 it was around 4 million, then around 9 million, 22 million, and then it jumped up fivefold to over 100 million. Zoom Video is really going places. They have a lot in their bank account right now, so they could do a lot of different things. It's very, you could say, a key moment here in history for them. The bottom portion here is their liabilities. And you can see here in 2017 on up to 2019, they've had hardly anything. So this company is in a really good position. They're not having to deal with having to pay back these lenders. So they're positioned really well compared to other companies. Here you can see here at the far right in 2020, they have a little bit, but it's just a very minuscule amount compared to all the cash they have in the bank there at the top. Now, recent news, I always like to peek and see what recently happened. And as everyone probably knows, they've had some of these security issues where it's Zoom bombing and people have just popped into these virtual meetings unwelcome, just making a lot of profanity and just really disrupting. Zoom's going to have to do a lot of work to gain the confidence of users again and make it so that their very important meetings or webinars aren't trashed, and no one likes that when things are disrupted, when maybe something meaningful or emotional is going on. You know, I put this little thing here together, the potential for Zoom, and these are just some of the key things that I was looking at to see whether it's okay to invest or if it are red flags existing. And the number of shares held by institutions for Zoom. Here I was able to pull up a chart, and you can see all of the big investors that are jumping into Zoom. You know, these are just millions of shares that are being snatched up by these big hedge fund and equity firms. So it can be anything from as small as 2 million to 7 million shares being bought. And you can see at the very bottom, there's just this one institution that's dumping shares. But overall, there's a lot of new players wanting to get a piece of the pie with Zoom. And the price trend, let's just take a peek at what's happening here. You know, for a while there, Zoom was going up. Bottom where it started out at was being tested. That level was very near there at the very same level. And then what happened was it started to see a very big growth, and from there it's never looked back. It's just continually gone up. There hasn't been a major pullback yet here for Zoom. And revenue trend, has Zoom been able to continually keep customers coming through the door and using their products? And you can see here the numbers here that I've highlighted in red. You can see here from 2018 to 2020 that there's been a 400% increase in revenue. That's just astonishing. You hardly ever see this with a company. You could probably only count a handful of companies that have been able to do this. And competitor comparison. You know, I mentioned before Microsoft, Cisco, Citrix Systems, and with Zoom, you can see here I've ranked them with 2018 to 2019 sales growth. Microsoft being at 14%, that's very respectable for such a large company, a leader in this space. Cisco Systems at 5.2, and Citrix Systems at 1.3, and then Zoom Video at 118%. That's just phenomenal. And these are the types of small businesses that I want to find that are really doing something like this, where it's just going to really drive growth and potentially be a great company here in the next couple decades. All right, and this last aspect here is a trading strategy. And one of those things that is broadly used by investors is the RSI indicator. That's just short for relative strength indicator. And you can see here that at the bottom here by the yellow line is the RSI, and you can see it closely mimics the price trend for Zoom with the blue line there above the volume bars. You can see here each time the RSI dip, and when it got up to a certain level, RSI goes from 0 to 100. It's just two numbers that we associate in our mind the most simplest with. When RSI got up to 86 and 70 and 74, then it would retrace and go back down. This can be a helpful way for when you do enter a trade, that you're kind of keeping these range of numbers in mind so that you're not being late for when it dips back down and having to wait for the next retracement. You obviously can't call the very tops and the bottoms with these particular patterns. You never want to either. Not even the greatest experts can do that. So you always want to just try to find the strategies that are going to get you a decent return and then be able to move on to the next trade. Here's from Yahoo Finance, and they easily allow you to draw on the chart and to get some of the percentages. So I thought it would be a little interesting and eye-opening for you guys to see where I mark some of the RSI in relations to the price trend and the percentages of the gains. So it's just kind of paints the new picture when I put it this way, and you can see when you could potentially enter and exit trades for Zoom. Now, the relative strength of a stock rises and falls like waves. Knowing how it reacts to the broader markets will give you an edge. Waiting for the right time to enter and exit a stock will take time and patience. So don't sweat it. Not even the great Buffett is able to get it right all the time. What do you guys think about Zoom? Do you use Zoom, or do you use a different video conferencing software? I'd love to hear. Comment below and smash that like button if this video has been helpful and you learned something. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. It will really help me determine what video content is important to you guys. And hit that bell icon if you want to see the videos that I upload right away. I'll see you guys in the next video.